Have you ever had any experience with your Corsair LL fan suddenly stop glowing? Then this video might be for you. So here's the situation. CPU heatsink fans don't glow, so neither the front nor the back. The rear fan does not glow. Both top fans don't work. And what we have here is just a kind of barely working front fan, and the bottom does not. I know, it's a mess, but that's not the point here. The point here are the RGB hubs. So as far as I know, modern IQ fans do ship with Lightning Node Core instead of the combo of what I have here, which is a RGB hub connected to the Lightning Node Pro, which is connected then into the motherboard. So your mileage may vary, but then again, I think the same principle can be used for here as well. So just to discuss how this setup currently is, so I have here the at channel 1 is the barely working fan at the front, at the top. As for the one in second channel, this is the top fan at the front. And for the third, what we have here is the bottom front fan. As for the bottom RGB hub, channels 2, 3, and 4 are all the Corsair LL120 fans. So 2 in the CPU heatsink and 1 for the rear. As for the channel 1, this is the fan at the rear at the top. Since I already tested this thing out, I know which fans don't work. So I know that this does not work and this just barely works. So we'll start with the first RGB hub. So what I'll do, I'll swap fans 1 and 3 and see if there's any change. So I swapped them, so let's turn this on. As you can see, the bottom fan now glows, and even the top fan does. To confirm, let's have a different angle, and yes, I can confirm it does work. However, this barely working fan still barely works. So why is that? We know that this was in channel 1 and we swapped to channel 3. Since this barely works, it can actually send a signal to channels 2 and 3, and that's why they don't glow earlier. But now that we swap 1 and 3, so that channels 1, this now works, and 2 works, they can still send a signal to this barely working fan, and all of them do glow now. So before I turn this on, I've already swapped channels 1 and 4 in the second RGB hub. So let's turn this on. So what should happen is that all fans should glow except for this and this barely working front fan. So let's try. Yes, it happened. Everything works now. Except for the fans that we just tested earlier. Is it a safe assumption to say that if channel 1 does not work, everything won't work? So what if I just remove channel 1 and have the working fans at channels 2 and 3 instead? So I actually swapped them now, so the channel 1 does not work. It is the barely working fan at the top front, and channels 2 and 3 I know works. So just to confirm, yes, they all don't work because channel 1 is the wrong one. So let's turn this off and remove channel 1. Again, this is the one that does not work. So if we remove this, then everything should work now, right? Well, let's see. Nothing works still. So the lesson here is that channel 1 should always be populated. So it is sequential. So if you said in IQ that there are 4 fans, then channels 1 to 4 should be the one that are populated, and you shouldn't leave gaps in between. So to recap, if all of your fans don't work, it doesn't mean they actually technically don't work at all. Sometimes it's that just the channel with a lower number happens to be not working, and therefore everything after that don't work. So try to swap them out and figure out which is the culprit. Sometimes it's actually just a single fan that does not work and everything else does. Like mine. Well, there's 2 out of the 7 that does not work, but nevertheless, it still hurts because they're expensive, but that's it. But anyway, shout out to my gloves with lights. They helped me in this video, so bye.